Oak tree is a eukaryotic organism, which means that its cells composed of nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles such as Golgi apparatus and mitochondria. It belongs to the kingdom Plantae, which includes plants like an oak tree, which obtains most of their energy from sunlight through the process called photosynthesis by primary chloroplasts that are derived with cyanobacteria. Vascular plants are defined as land plants with lignified tissues for conducting water and minerals throughout the plant. They have true roots, leaves, and stem. Dicotyledon is a flowering plant with an embryo that bears 2 seed leaves. Dicots typically also have flower plants based on a plan of 4 or 5 or multiples thereof, although there are exceptions. The Fagales or Fagales are an order of flowering plants, including some of the best-known trees. Members of that order represent some of the most important temperate deciduous or evergreen trees. Beech is characterized by smooth gray bark, long, slender, scaly winter buds, and 3-angled nuts. Beech trees offer important values to the ecosystem as well as commercial and aesthetic values for people. Quercus is any of about 450 species of ornamental and timber trees and shrubs, constituting the genus Quercus in the beech family. Quercus mongolica is a deciduous tree growing to 30 meters at a medium rate. The species is monoecious individual flowers, either male or female, but both sexes can be found on the same plant. An oak tree started off as a seed from its parent that landed on a fertile soil or ground through the process of wind, animals, or any other factors. Each acorn contains just one seed. When a seed germinates, it produces a taproot, as we can see right now in a slow process. The seed sends up a shoot as spring arrives, and this will anchor the tree for the rest of its life. It pushes through the leaf litter, producing its first leaves for photosynthesis. Most oak trees won't produce a good crop of acorns until they are around 50 years old. Over the next 100 years, the young tree matures into a majestic adult. A mature tree can grow up to 45 meters tall and can spread almost as wide. At 700 years old, the oak has reached old age. It produces fewer acorns and only grows very slowly. Over its lifespan, an oak tree can produce as many as 10 million acorns.
Dendrologists, scientists who study trees, shrubs and vines divide oak trees into 2 basic groups. One is the white oak group and the other is the red oak group. One easily observable difference is that white oak leaves have lobes that are rounded, while the lobes on red oak leaves are bristle-tipped. And the 2 groups have slightly different life cycles. Flowering is part of an oak tree's life cycle. The flowers on oak trees, though, are not the showy kind, and the average observer may not even recognize them as flowers. Among other factors, botanists categorize flowers by how they are pollinated. Some flower types are insect-pollinated, while others are pollinated by wind. Oak trees have flowers that are wind-pollinated. In other words, rather than an insect actively carrying pollen from the male flower to the female, the pollen simply drifts in the air. By chance, some of it will land on female flowers and pollinate them. The fruit and seed of the oak tree is the familiar acorn. Once the oak tree has flowered and wind has scattered pollen and pollinated the female flowers, the acorn begins to develop. Oak trees in the white oak group have acorns that mature and are ready to germinate in one season. The white oak tree flowers in the spring as acorns develop during the spring and summer, then drop and are ready to sprout in the fall of that same year. Acorns developing on a tree in the red oak group grow and develop just as those of the white oak, but are not mature and ready to sprout until after winter and into the following year.
So, the unique features includes the following. Oak trees can grow to gargantuan sizes. It is used to make alcohol, and its acorn contains toxic tannic acid. And the reasons why I chose this organism includes the following. To determine its average lifespan, it can provide a wider shade around an area, and it astonishes me of how it can manage to live within centuries.